As my career began to pick up steam, and I began to work in a lot of different places, not only the theater, but television and film, voiceover work, video training films, and things like that, I realized that they sort of had one thing in common, which was the production offices for those projects would call me and ask for the same set of personal information that I would never put on my regular resume. And so to save time and to make friends with the people in the production office, I created this thing that I call the Actor Stats Resume. And what I wanted to do today is cover basically two things. The first are the items that go on an Actor Stats resume and why they should be there and not on your other actor audition resume. And then to talk about a couple of other things you can add to it, some documentation that you can add to your Actor Stats resume that'll help augment it and make it work even better for you. Okay? So let's get started. So the first step in making an Actor Stats resume is to create a document on your computer and then give it a name, which in this case mine says Sean Pratt Actor Stats Resume. That way I can include it as an attachment on an email and the person receiving it will know what it is. As far as the layout of the interior of the document, just make sure it's legible, that the information tracks across the page and all that. The first piece of information you want to include is your legal name if it's different from your performer name. That way the production office can cut the check to the right person, and also when they're doing their paperwork with the IRS, it all goes smoothly. The next chunk of information to add is all of your contact information. Now, when you were auditioning for the project, on your resume you either had your cell phone number and your email address, or if you were being represented by someone, you had their contact information. But now you need to give them more information, like your fax number if you have one, your home phone number if you have one, and a mailing address. Now you can give them your home mailing address, but I would suggest spending a little extra money and getting yourself a P.O. box. It's a handy thing to have because if you move around a lot, you'll always have one fixed address. That way, of course, they know where to mail your check or the script or whatever else they need to send you. But once again, I just think for personal reasons, for security reasons, it's a good thing to have a P.O. box instead. You might want to list your union ID numbers here in case they need to file any paperwork with the union. One ID number that you will not put down on this paper is your Social Security number. I've already mentioned in a previous video how you never put that number on your audition resume anyway. You don't even put it down here. On mine it says Social Security number, please call. And then I give it to them over the phone. In this day and age of identity theft, I just try to be as careful as possible. And then really it's about measurements. You want to list your height and your weight, so be honest. Your hair and your eye color, your suit or dress size. Once again, be honest. If it says on the piece of paper that you wear a size 6 and you actually wear a size 8, they're going to be really upset when they've pulled all these clothes for your fitting and none of them fit. Then you've got things like your shirt, your collar and your sleeve size, your waist, your hip size, your inseam, your shoe, your hat size. I didn't realize how important knowing what a hat size was until I did a show where they had to build me a hat. And they had to measure my head. I've got a 24-inch head. I've got a big noggin. And that translates into, when you're doing hat sizes, to 7 7/8. I didn't know that, but now I do. I put it on the resume. The same with a glove size. Now you can say large, extra large, or whatever, but there are actual sizes that they measure when they're making gloves. Now, if you want this specific information, it might be a good thing to pop into a tailor, or if you've done a show previously where they've made a few measurements like this, see if you can get your hands on that. And that actually leads to, if you want to expand these measurements and make them much more precise, oftentimes on a project, if they have to build you a costume from scratch, they'll create a document where they take all these really, odd, your girth measurement, your shoulder to elbow to wrist measurement and those things. If you can get a copy of that, do, and then transfer it to your resume. That kind of information is invaluable when you're doing a project and it's halfway across the country and they need to have some idea of what kind of costumes to pull for you. So after you've put the ActorStats resume together, your only job is to keep the information current and you're good to go. Now I wanted to give you one more tip about something you can add to the resume that will augment it and make your life and the lives of the people at the production office a whole lot easier. And that is documents, specifically government documents or union documents. Go to irs.gov and download the W-4 form, which is for tax withholdings, and the I-9 form, which shows residency status, and print them out, fill them out, then scan them back into your computer and save them as a document. Give them a name, like Sean Pratt's W-4 form. And once again, when they're asking for all your other contact information, you can just send that stuff over and it's good to go. They just print it out and they put it on file. One thing to consider also on the I-9 form, if you've ever had to fill one out, you'll know that if you don't have a U.S. passport, you have to present a bunch of other different documentation. Well, if you know that's the case, spend the time and money and get yourself a U.S. passport. Once you have one of those, that's all you need for the I-9 form, okay? It just makes your life a whole lot easier. The only other documents to think about adding to this as well would be, if you're a member of the union, maybe a production report document where you can download it, fill it out, scan it back in with the basic information so you can just augment it as you need it. And they also have electronic versions of those documents so you can just type in the information. Or a modeling voucher. You know, once again, this is just about making your life easier and make things run smoothly at the other end as well. Okay? So, that's the ActorStats resume. Put all this information together, keep it handy, trust me. It's going to make your life a whole lot easier. It'll be one less thing to think about when you arrive to do the job, and it'll make everybody happy in the production office.